one on YouTube asked you a question.
I didn't see it. I couldn't on YouTube. I looked. It said no feedback to anything.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I saw it. She was asking you a question about either Star Trek or wine. I'm not sure. Either one. You are the expert on that one. So.
All right. Well, we gotta find it then.
And can you clap 3 times? That helped me in my last edit. You don't usually need it, but there's a problem with the audio video sync, so we should do that as a standard. So we got to update where people can find us on the little list of things. I think that's it.
I'm going to let you
we got to talk about what's up.
I'm going to let you handle all of that.
Okay. The only thing is I can only edit the previous show notes. I can't edit the current show notes or the next show notes.
No, I understand, but I mean, I don't know where. So I'm just now hearing about all this. So I know you just told me on the things. I'm just saying for this show, if you want to delineate where we are.
Oh yeah, sure, no problem. And then I'll put it on the thing. I'll send you links and such. And got to talk about our upcoming Captain's Table, and which is after Christmas, I believe. And
that makes sense.
Of course, look forward to a pre-taped episode during the holidays. Good. Hello, live audience. We are setting up, getting ready. We are excited to talk about something Star Trek, right? What is it? Star Trek 5? Is that what we're talking about?
Star Trek 5, the one with the bloody whales.
No bloody A, B, C, or D whales.
It's like we already have some.
All right. So we should be live. Let me see. Let me double check. Yep. And it says Lower Deck Series Finale live show recording. Okay. So I can close that window. So we are live on there. Make sure. Exploration of love. I got to fix my Borg note. It keeps going out.
I'm sorry, Willard. I know if you're listening. I have not been to the post office box since Saturday. I haven't had a chance. So probably. I kind of pissed the lady off the last time I was there. I don't know how, but she's. Anyway, maybe we'll
see if I can turn you up.
You
sound a little low. Maybe it's on my end. Let me turn my volume up.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check. 1 2 3 4 5. Check. Says Chris.
Yep, you sound good. You sound
1 2 3 4 5.
Anybody listening before we start?
I'm not peaking. My output volume.
That'll be up. You're good. I had my volume down. It was me.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm not peaking. I'm getting into the yellow. Even when I talk loud, I'm just getting into the yellow. So it's limited.
Talk loud and fast. Ah! Everybody's heard about the bird. Bird. Bird is the word. We got some packages, all right.
You know it, baby.
Well, Christopher's married, and I'm too old for that stuff.
I'm getting too old for that stuff.
Woo!
I should curse a little bit more.
No, that's a half hour to edit. Okay, maybe 45 minutes, depending. Okay,
give me 45 minutes, and I'll give you the Wild. You wind it, Vic.
10 wins. All right. You run your Trek exploration.
Yeah, it's just I have to remake these T-shirts and like put it up here.
Yeah, right. We need them on the collar.
Yeah, right on the neck. We got to do some.
Or we need just wider shots. But I think I look good in the bust. Is that what this is called, or the headshot? Body shot, baby.
Decoupage classique.
Decoupage. Is that like paper mache? Or is that different?
No, it was a term that I learned in screenwriting class for an over-the-shoulder shot. In French, they call it decoupage classique.
I like that. The only over-the-shoulder I know is the boulder holder. Air paint doesn't taste so good. Okay. Hello, Trek Explorers, and welcome back to Trek Exploration. I'm Albie.
And I'm Chris.
How you doing, Chris?
I just had a mouthful of water when you said hello, so if someone heard me audibly gulp on the microphone, that's why. And we're not even going to restart. We're a gulps and all podcast.
Gulps and all. People are into that ASMR. I'll put that in the search terms, and we'll get some extra hits. Today we are talking about season 5, episode 10 of Lower Decks, the series finale? Question mark. You never know what the future holds.
I'm going to say it's a series finale.
It was very series finale like. If you haven't watched it, pause us. Wait, we're live. But anyway, pause us. Yeah. Go watch it and come back. We're going to spoil all of it and talk about it. And it's pretty something. All right. This episode is called The New Next Generation. The original air date was December 19th, 2024. It was written by Mike McMahon and directed by Megan Lloyd.
Megan Lloyd.
Chris, I texted you last night. I was like, are you up? Are you watching it?
I wasn't up. I wasn't watching it. You texted me, in all fairness, at like 3:30 in the morning. And
no, it was 2:30. 2:30? Yeah, 2:30. Because I was going to watch. Huh?
I thought it premiered at 3.
It does, 3. So what my text said was I'm going to watch last week's episode so I can roll right into next week's episode and do like
I see. How'd that work out for you?
Not so good because I sat down and it was already out. So they released it a little bit early. So I was like, well, I can't not watch it. So I just went with the finale.
All right. Well, so you were there on the cutting edge, on the bleeding edge. You saw
it
before anybody saw it.
Well, I'm sure there's about 100,000 people watching it.
Well, I wasn't one of them. So does it count?
Yes. Let us know. Do you watch at 3 a.m.? And why don't they put it on at 8 p.m.? That'd be nicer. But we might have to wait an extra day. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, it's probably, they don't want to spoil the West Coast.
I guess. Yeah. Whew. Those West Coasties, man. I live in West Coast time, but still 3 a.m. is late for me. I don't know why. I guess my waking time is shorter than my sleeping time lately.
Okay. I mean, when you live in Florida, you got to get out of that sunshine. So I understand. I get it.
Yeah, it's hot. It's like living on in a spaceship. You got to just stay inside. Go from airlock to airlock.
We do have one super fan that watched it at 3 a.m. It is the Omnipotent Willard.
The Omnipotent Willard. He said, I did watch it at 3 a.m. right after I woke up. Sweet. So maybe he's an early riser.
I think I'm the only person in the world who sleeps at night now and goes to work during the day. I'm some kind of sucker.
It's the old school when you got a job and you don't have like 10 side gigs.
Yeah, I guess that's how that works, huh?
Yeah, it's the gig economy now. You just got to do. Whoa! We got a text from Linda.
Linda. Linda she was being naughty, very naughty. She watched it on the sly at work on her phone. Linda, it's not like I've never done anything like that.
I seem to remember you in Scrubs watching the Quantum Leap trailer when it dropped with us.
I did. And actually, I was watching the Superman trailer today, too. That dropped. So.
Did it come out?
Yeah. I was very happy to see it.
Any good? I told YouTube to notify me, but I guess I missed it.
I saw it on my phone after lunch. I still have to watch it. Like I want to watch it on my TV in like HD. Yeah. It's short. It's it's got some good imagery. I don't know. I was looking and the look of Soups is a little bit different here. So it's going to take me a second to get my head around it. That's why I want to watch it a few times.
Bizarro Superman. Is that what they're doing this time?
It looks like he's got like a flopsy mopsy topsy. He's got like curls.
Oh, Flopsy Mopsy. What is that from? That book about rabbits that they made 2 movies out of? Peter Cottontail? No. Peter Rabbit? Peter Rabbit.
Okay. He's like Peter Rabbit, but not. He's like Super Rabbit.
Omnipotent Willard says, I've always been a night owl. Getting up at 3 a.m. allows me to do my creative stuff to be done before time to do any adulting needed during the day. Yes. I kind of like just stay up as long as I can until I pass out.
Yeah. I used to be a night owl. Sometimes I still get insomnia and I'm up, but for the most part, I was watching this tonight and the second time we were going through it because this one needed to be watched twice before I even started to write anything.
It did.
Yeah. And the second time I was starting to doze towards the end again. So that's the same old story, same old song and dance. I'm sorry. That's not a commentary on the episode. It's a commentary on the fact that I'm getting to be an old man.
Aren't we all? You can't be an original series Star Trek fan all the way through and not be a little bit older, I think. Well, maybe streaming nowadays.
I was going to say I didn't see it when it originally aired. So.
Me neither. I was.
So we're slightly younger than some fans.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Slightly younger than some fans. That they're going to put that on my tombstone.
I know the original fans. I mean, they need wheelchairs and walkers.
They need a $10,000 wheelchair that can't get off the transporter pad.
We're there to help them around because we're all one big family, Star Trek fan family. All right. Speaking of watching it on the big screen, this was the first episode of Star Trek I watched on the new projector, the laser projector, the 4K laser projector.
Explain to everybody what goes on there in the Burge House with this.
Well, I have a 130-inch projection screen, 135-inch, and I had a PJ40. You can look them up. Nexico, really good, but it's a LCD projector, and it looked amazing. The best thing I'd seen projection-wise in real life. But then, they came out with this newest model, and I had to get it because it was on pre-release, pre-order sale, half off. And I'm like, if I'm going to do it, I better do it. And it is just amazing. Most projectors, it looks like you're looking at a projector on a projector screen. This looks like it's actually coming out of the screen like a regular, super bright TV. And it's got 3D, which is amazing. But we were watching it, and like my eyes hurt after a few hours because it was just so bright.
Too much, right?
It's crazy. It's like sitting in the IMAX theater, which is fine for an hour and a half, 3 hours at the most. But like all day, it's like, my retinas were burned. The 3D is amazing, though. We tested it with Avatar, of course. That's like what you test stuff with, Blu-ray 3D. Then we watched some, what was it? That Christmas movie with the train and Tom Hanks.
The Polar Express. I just heard a radio story about that.
Really?
Yeah, they were talking about someone was defending it. I've never seen it, and I can't stand Josh Groban, so I don't even want to hear it because I get that dumb song in my head.
I think Aerosmith's in it.
He sings like a robot, Josh Groban. What?
Aerosmith's in it, I think, towards the end.
Aerosmith sucks too. So there we go.
Whoa! Hey, we might have to end the show. I thought we were Star Trek besties, but I don't know.
Aerosmith, really?
Yeah.
I think they might be the only band that's more overrated than Kiss.
Whoa. Okay. Kiss has some killer t-shirts and merch. I'm going to say that right now.
All right. Beth is not like our t-shirts.
Not like our t-shirts.
All right. We got some killer t-shirts here. If only so we could angle our camera so that we can see it. I'll get like a paper clip and I'll
just do clothespins. Maybe that's what clothespins are for. Just to pin them up there.
Right. That won't look weird and ultra HD.
It shows you my hard camera. So if you're watching the edited version, you're like, what? I can read it. I can see it.
Yeah. So
we finished the night with Nightmare Before Christmas 3D. It's amazing. It's like right in your living room.
Another one I haven't seen. I hear good things about it though.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. Oh yeah, you told me that, and I sent you a bunch of merch pictures. I'm like, you got to watch it. Maybe this year.
Maybe this year. I'm always looking for something new. Or no, I lie. I'm not always looking for something new. Unless it's the new Superman trailer. You know what I started watching last night? Just because I started rewatching the rebooted Battlestar Galactica miniseries from the Sci-Fi Channel from 2001.
Wow.
And yeah, with maybe the intention of rewatching the entire series. I don't know, but it still holds up, boy.
Amazing. I got it on Blu-ray. I haven't popped it in yet, but I've watched a lot of it. I think I watched it through twice, maybe, when it was on originally, and then just another run of it. But the Blu-ray set's nice. All the commentaries are on there. Of course, Ronald D. Moore. And 6 is the 10. Just going to say.
Oh, I have a second favorite park in my life now. No one will ever eclipse Linda, of course, but that Grace Park, she comes pretty close.
Well, that was at least back in our day. That was the modern day Ginger or Marianne. It was Grace or Linda. I don't know. I have no idea.
The answer to that question is yes.
Yes, both. They're both amazing actors. And we appreciate their artistry. Christopher, first impressions on the new Next Generation Season 5, Episode 10, series finale of Star Trek Lower Decks.
My head is still spinning, man. I mean,
right?
It was something else. There was a whole lot to process in this one. I guess that's good because if it was going to be a series finale, it gave you a lot to chew on. I was kind of confused a bit about the direction it was taking and some of the stuff that it was doing, which is why I wanted to watch it a second time. And I think this is the kind of episode that will improve with increased viewings instead of diminish with increased viewings. There are some finales that I've seen a million times where it gets less special every time. And then there's like finales like Mirror Image, what I can watch it over and over and over and either revel in what I love about it and also find something new. I feel like maybe Lower Decks will be doing that for fans with this episode, 20 years from now. Anyway, that's my impression now because, again, it was just so much. The barrage of everything really kept me entertained, and I got a lot to talk about. How about you? What were your first impressions of it?
a lot to talk about. I think they were the opposite of lazy. They were very ambitious. I think they filled every frame with so much detail and information. The story was well crafted. I was worried going into it because last week was so good. But I want to say they stuck the landing and did a great job. For me, it was like a combination between one of those over-the-top episodes that, like, if you watch it on other new Trek, it's like it gets boring because there's way too much too often. And they saved it for this one, and I appreciated it. And I think it was, like, very cinematic, and it could have been, like, I think while I was watching the battle sequences, it seemed to me like if there was a Star Trek Lower Decks motion picture in the theater, this is what it would be. And I liked it. I really liked it.
Oh, cool. I'm glad to hear it.
We got a lot to talk about.
So much. I have to find my rundown. What I do with it? What did I do with it?
That'll give me a chance to get some energy.
What'll I do? There it is. I found it. So is this part where I read the synopsis?
This is the part where you read the synopsis for Star Trek Lower Decks, New Next Generation, Season 5, Episode 10, original air date December 19th, 2024. That's yesterday or today, as I'm looking.
It's now 12:02 a.m. It's 12.
Only in this time zone.
Yeah, I was going to say, here in this time zone, it's tomorrow.
Yeah, it's still yesterday in a bunch of time zones. So we got it on the day. That's why we fit it in. We had to do it.
That's why we figured there are going to be so many eyes glued on this live recording because it dropped today and people are going to want to rush. So that's why we wore our merch shirts and you can't even see our logos. So
merch.
We got to fix our cameras.
This is the Picard maneuver. This is the Mirror Universe Picard maneuver.
That is perfect. Okay, we can end the show now. We're never going to get a better joke than that.
All right. Written by Mike McMahon, the great Mike McMahon. I love you. Thank you, sir. You did me good. Directed by Megan Lloyd.
All right. And we open on the edge of Klingon space where a generically hostile Klingon captain named Relga is venting her spleen at her backwater patrol assignment and itching to stir up some trouble with the Federation. But before you can say Star Trek V, an enormous dimensional rift opens up in front of them, slamming them with an energy beam that turns one Klingon ship into a Discoverse version of Klingons before it blows up. Cut to the Cerritos, where Rutherford is beginning to hate the ship because it can't keep up with his more advanced Oculus implant. And then Boimler gets that message from William Boimler. I'll say that again. And then Boimler gets that message from William Boimler, see the last episode, and promptly freaks the heck out. Naturally, at that high point, we cut to the transport ship of Mahan and Malora. Mahan, I always say his name wrong. Those farming Klingons from earlier in the season, because that's where you'd go from that moment. They are beset by Relga's ships. She is looking for an excuse to kill Ma'an because he killed her brothers. Her recently destroyed ship will provide that excuse. I wrote this, and it's so good on paper, but sometimes you got to read it before you read it real live on air.
I'm enjoying it.
Her recently destroyed ship will provide that excuse. In the ensuing firefight, Malor warps away. Back on the Cerritos, Freeman briefs Starfleet on the impending dimensional disaster. Since the Enterprise is still on its way, the brass decides that the Cerritos must undertake the mission of closing the dangerous rift, betting that the connection between the clone Boimlers will give them an edge. The only catch: the growing rift is emitting waves of destructive soliton resonance surrounded by a Schrodinger field that rearranges matter into different possible items from across the multiverse. The Cerritos embarks, but just as things are getting good and dangerous as they near the rift, Ma'an and Malor drop out of warp and seek asylum aboard the Cerritos. Relga is close behind and gunning for blood. Now the Cerritos must battle against time and the Klingons to close the rift. A freaky firefight ensues, which sees the Cerritos transformed into various types of Federation ships. They press on and Relga pursues, but she isn't so lucky, as the Schrodinger field takes out her ships and destroys her. Finally, free of the fight, the Cerritos fires a gluconic beam to seal the rift, but it doesn't work. So Mariner pulls off some magic tech and actually stabilizes the rift and keeps it open permanently. And before you can say DS9, Starbase 80 is moved to the new interdimensional gate to serve as a staging ground for new missions to explore the the alternate dimensions of the multiverse, and Captain Freeman is assigned to the base to coordinate the missions. Teary goodbyes ensue. Ransom is promoted to captain of the Cerritos. Mariner gives a teary soliloquy about how awesome the misfit crew of the Cerritos is, and then Ransom makes her and Boimler into co-provisional first officers as they move on to new adventures that we'll probably never see, this time for the last time on Star Trek Lower Decks.
I was on board to that last sentence. I was all hyped and happy and then sad. Backdoor pilot, maybe? I was thinking. I don't know.
I have to say, again, we have a lot to talk about, and we gave our first impressions. I want to tell everybody out there, because this is a very seminal moment in the history of Star Trek. I guess it's one of the few series finales that have been planned since 2001. I don't know. But, so before we go on our own series soliloquies, I want to tell people how they can reach out and tell us what they think. You can always find us, of course, on our Patreon site. That's patreon.com/Trexploration. You can join the community there for free or for pay. We'd love it if you supported us there, but that's where we try to have our main hub of discussion. You can Instagram us, Trexploration Pod. You can email us, trexplorationpod@gmail.com. You can find us on Blue Sky at Trexploration Pod.
Smiling at me.
Nothing but blue sky. You can call us and sing Blue Sky or Mr. Blue Sky or anything you want at 707-847-6682. You can send us a nice little package of, I don't know, Cerritos mementos. Maybe you can do some latch hook Cerritos for us. I'll hang it on the wall behind me. P.O. Box 542, Bayport, New York, 11705. That's P.O. Box 542, Bayport, New York, 11705. We are on Twitch, where we pretend to play video games, but we don't. We have a shiny new website. It's trexploration.com. You can find us there. You can comment there. And you can also comment right down below on our YouTube channel. If you're watching us on YouTube, that's youtube.com/@Trexploration. And not only are we a YouTube show now, what's going on, Albie? You had a massive expansion of our social media footprint in the last few days. What are you up to with that?
Well, thanks to our crew, our patrons, we've been able to get our website and server up and running and working good. And we got our website, it's developing. And that means we're able to put the podcast out into the world to hopefully attract more eyes and ears to us and build our crew. Because what if this starship, it's a tiny starship, but what if the Schrodinger field makes it like a galaxy class? We're going to have to fill that ship with more crew, right?
Yeah, those are big ships.
So within 24 hours, look for us on Apple iTunes, Apple Podcasts, I think that's called now. I'm not sure. We'll be on your Alexa. So if you have it, she just lit up right now. We're going to be on there. So the only problem with that is when you say, can you play Trexploration podcast? It's like Trek Exploration, Geek Exploration, Trek Exploration. And she has trouble right now. So I don't know.
You're saying we didn't think this through?
Not the name, because it's not a word. So the AIs don't know what to make of it. Give them a couple years after they hear about us, But anyway, we're going to be on there. And but if you type it in your Alexa app, it might go to your, I don't know. But and I think we'll be on Spotify and a couple other places. What is your podcast listening preference? And let us know where we can put ourselves. We're trying to build our crew.
My listening preference is, because I have an Android device, is a podcatcher called Podcast Addict. That's
right. So you do an RSS feed with that?
Yeah. Well, but the thing is, you can load your podcast onto that as well. Like my old podcast, CRTV, went right to that. You can, I guess you said it, like you would set up the account for Apple Podcasts. I used to call it iTunes. That's why I'm hesitating here. It's called Apple Podcasts.
Yeah,
right?
iTunes.
Yeah. So the old iTunes or whatever.
Yeah,
it's just another thing where you can submit your link and then they'll put it up for you with your artwork and everything like that. So you don't have to grab the RSS feed. You should be able to just type it in and search for it. So maybe we'll get onto Podcast Addict as well.
Exploration of love. Yeah, so we'll be at all those places.
All those new places. So
yeah. So go to the website if you have a special podcatcher and just click on subscribe to podcast, RSS, and of course we'll still be on for our patrons. That they have an exclusive podcast feed that's only for patrons, and that gets like the behind the scenes and bonus shows, and the shows come out quicker on that, and some are uncensored, so you get a lot for that little bit.
Yeah. So, and we wouldn't be able to do it without our intrepid crew of Trick Explorers. Those include our cadet, listen, Linda. I know you're listening right now, Linda. Hi. Our Lieutenant Commander, Scott Seligman, and Cosplay Dad. Our Captain Charles from Texas, Captain on the Bridge, Captain Charles. Kapla, and our lifetime member Willard, our Q Continuum level supporter, the omnipotence Willard. Thank you, one and all, for your support. Thank you for all of our free members over at the Patreon side as well, and for everybody watching here live and for checking us out. We really, really are grateful that you're giving us a shot.
Absolutely. All the people that are hearing us for the first time, because we're dropping in podcast feeds everywhere. Go back, listen to our back catalog, go to Patreon, become a member. Find out all the good stuff. Catch up. Listen to the 60 hours we did so far and tell us how we did. Give us a 5-star rating. If you give us a 5-star rating on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, there will be a reward. I don't know if it will like increase your rank. I don't know if you get an extra pip. I don't know if you'll just get like some kind of medal, maybe. We got to figure that out.
All right.
Go to Apple Podcasts and give a 5-star review. More feedback places for Chris to scramble for right before recording.
I have to tell you, Albie was telling me before we got on mic today, we have a bunch of feedback. So I'm like looking as I'm putting this rundown together, I don't know, 15 minutes ago. And I didn't find any. So where's this feedback that you detail?
I'm going there right now.
This is the space in the show where we put it.
Yes, put it there. Okay. It was from Listen Linda. And it was one of the lives I think she posted under. Oh. And I'm going to say Fissure Quest? No. Maybe Upper Decks.
So, always good to hear from Linda.
Yeah, she had a question for you.
And question for me? For me? For little old me?
You saw it before.
Sorry, I'm like looking down. I'm looking on my phone to see if I can find it too. This is great potting, isn't it?
You're probably better at it than me.
I don't think so.
I should just go to my other one where it'll just say comments, or I'll let you find it. No, it'll be a contest. Which one of us can find it?
You find it. No, you hang up.
No, you hang up. Okay. So I got to open a different Chrome profile.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
YouTube.
Linda, if you did leave the message, just put it here. Ask the question here.
Comments.
Here on the live feed. We'll pop it up. We'll read it right now. Trust me, it's going to be faster and less painful.
Yeah, I don't know. It's there. Ooh. I got too many windows open on my computer. Right, Linda had an important question about wine or Star Trek. So could you answer one of those, Chris?
Wine or Star Trek?
Linda's looking too. Linda's looking for it too. But I know I read it. I'm so I want to know things, but I don't want to click on them because I don't want to leave stuff unread for you because then you won't find it. So, and then I don't know how to unhide it or unread it.
Yeah, I mean, we did get a comment saying the Anaximander was so appropriately named after an ancient Greek philosopher. Look him up to find out just how apt this name is. That was from Susan Okolowski 2233, and I think the omnipotent Willard also cued us into that fact when we were doing Fissure Quest.
Something I had never heard of before that. I just thought they were like combining two like generic Star Trek ship names.
Yeah, for some reason, I guess because I'm listening to a podcast where someone's playing a character that's an axolotl, which is a type of amphibian, I guess.
Mexican amphibian salamander type thing. Yeah, they come in black or pink, and they're really cool looking. Rennie has a hat and a plush and all kinds of stuff.
It should come in purple too, as anyone watching on the YouTube channel can see. Albie is rocking the purple beard. He's got the Brad hair going. I don't know. You have so many looks. It's always a surprise.
I know, and I can pull any of your thumbnails and from other episodes and just pop them on, there. Because you don't paint your head like I do.
No, I don't. Yeah, no, I am terrified to do anything to this hair because I don't want to lose it.
Perfect. Yeah, it's
So
perfect.
I'm just,
You don't
yeah.
mess
I
with
mean,
that.
I just comb it. That's all I do.
Me, I got spray paint. I got all
Yeah, I
kinds
feel
of.
like if I put spray paint, it's just gonna fall out and I'll never see it again. So
I'm very, very happy that this is the series finale, only because I can shave my face now.
right, it's so
I've been
itchy.
growing this purple beard all season.
I'm telling you, growing the purple
Okay, we
beard.
got a comment from Linda from the
Linda, so yeah, she couldn't be live. Hopefully you'll clear something up for me. I thought these fissures were portals to parallel universes, not time travel. If that's the case, wouldn't Paul have been really old? I know age is different for Vulcans, but 250 plus years. And what about Lily? She even talked about traveling in her own time. Wouldn't she still age normally, even if she's visiting alternate realities? I'm so confused. What are your thoughts? We addressed this a little bit on the last show. The fact that the universes don't have to be on the same time track. It's like the time here doesn't have to equate with the time there. And I think that we really got that as canon in the Enterprise episode In a Mirror Darkly, because the Defiant from TOS era was phasing in and out of our existence, or the prime universe existence, and it phased into the mirror universe, into the NX-01 timeline. So it was they were still on their maiden voyages of their Warp 5 ship, even though they were still the Terran Empire. And all of a sudden, this Constitution class from our universe comes on over to them, somehow slipping back through time. So I think that they even mentioned it on Disco, right? Didn't they show a shot of a silhouette of the Constitution class?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that I had slipped through, and it looked like they had switched it. I guess they had it for a number of years, and the nacelles were articulated at that point. It was just Disco screwing around to make everything over designed like Disco already does. But in my head canon, they changed it because they had the ship in that universe for so long, and that's what enabled Hoshi to become the Empress. And that's why I really thought that Hoshi was going to show up as the Empress instead of Giorgio. So I think
It's
we're
never too
rehashing
late. Time
some,
travel.
huh?
Never too late. Time travel.
Okay, yeah. And yeah, like I think we're rehashing some of the stuff that we said during that show, but I just want to give Linda my take on it and encapsulate it here, because I know she's listening live, she's watching live. So
Live.
that's my
So
take on it.
any brand new listeners, I think Christopher D. Philippus, nerd cred achieved. Ba-ding.
Yeah, you know what? One thing that we didn't talk about, though, think about how fascinating it is for that Lily, who was so bedazzled by the Enterprise E in First Contact, and just the size of the ship and what they would accomplish with their little warp bubble
Little
ship.
ship.
Yeah, that little ship with the Phoenix.
Yeah.
I knew it would come here. It's up here.
I had it. It melted. It was
Right.
beautiful.
But now it's another version of Lily that's sort of in that same time period with her friend Zeph. Cochrane is still alive, apparently. And they're, I guess, just embarking on this quest through dimensions for them to be able to see all of the different time streams and all of the different advances, and how their invention makes it to the broader galaxy, and all of their work flourishes across the galaxy and the Federation, and whatever their version of the Federation is. I'm sure that they're seeing the ramifications of their actions in advance. It's really neat. I think that Lily in the Prime Universe, what we call the Prime Universe, had a unique window into that future, but it was a singular experience for just her, and I guess for Zeke, because he got to see it too. Imagine if that's your reality. Imagine if you built like the prototype ship of whatever kind of fleet, and then you step into a rift, and then you see this sprawling future spread out before you immediately. It must be some kind of shock. So pretty cool.
Imagine if you made an invention and you could travel to alternate Earths, alternate dimensions.
Imagine if that invention, it looked like a 1990s TV remote control.
I have to say, I was excited to watch this. I was hyped up. It was 3 a.m. I just finished my day job, and I'm sitting there maybe 90 seconds in, and for me, they fixed the disco Klingons with like a 3-second clip.
Yeah, now, do we need to discuss that first and foremost? I mean, is that like a tacit acknowledgement that disco takes place in an alternate timeline, in an alternate universe?
I say yes. It makes everything better, and I'm happy now. Thank you, Mike McMahon. You made me happy. You fixed some in my brain.
I mean, but haven't they gone out of their way to say that, no, this is the prime timeline. Everything is still the same way. Everything was the way it was. Everything, and even though it's not going to fit in any conceivable way, you have what you have. This is it. So
it was slightly different, where just the Klingons didn't look like Klingons. It fixed it for me. So maybe when I rewatch Disco, because I'm going to get that set that Willard has, the Blu-ray set, then that might have convinced me to buy the set, because now they're alternate reality Klingons. Okay, something happened. The Northern people took over. Ooh, I don't know, Willard. Wow, I'm going to show this on the stream. Okay, left your review on Apple Podcasts. Nickname is Will Blook. Willard was taken. Oh, Willard was taken. Okay, so he left us a review. So we'll check on it by next show, as long as it's 5 stars. I don't know if you can get more promoted than being an omnipotent being.
Listen, I mean, that means that everybody now knows it in their brain as if it's always been.
Yes.
All of a sudden, we're like Jack Torrance at the Overlook. We've always been here.
So maybe some kind of Starfleet honor. What medals, what honors do certain Starfleet officers get that we can give them that doesn't affect their rank?
I don't know. We got to get one of those, like those triangles that they put on their tunics in the original series, so that you can make like a little starburst pattern. The thing with those things, it's like if you only have 2, there's really no way to arrange them. And you gotta be like Kirk and have 75 of them, so you can make a neat, dazzling display. And is there like a protocol for that? Like if you have those little triangle medals, whatever they are, can you put them on any way that suits you, or do you have to like arrange them a certain way?
I remember a couple pages in the technical manual showing diagrams that I didn't really examine. Willard said they didn't have 6 stars, so he had to give us 5, but that's good. He'll get some kind of something when we figure out what something is. So
Mama say, Mama sa, Mama husa.
Mama makusa. Okay, so I did make it to the post office, Chris. I don't know if you saw.
Oh, I saw a preview of things to come.
Yep, first batch is out. Second batch is going out tomorrow. Hopefully, is tomorrow Sunday again?
Tomorrow's not Sunday again. No, so
okay,
you're safe.
So probably tomorrow.
So you're good.
As long as the post office is open. Yeah. So check those mailboxes, everyone that gave us your address, and thank you so much.
Yeah. Hopefully you'll enjoy what you receive, and it's just our small way to thank you. And if you don't know what we're talking about, go and join us on our Patreon site. That's patreon.com/Trexploration, and you too can get a free gift as a token of our gratitude this holiday season.
Great joy and gratitude.
So say we all.
So say we all. Mr. Dama. Love that show. Anywho, I think I just had an idea. Wouldn't it be easier for your feedback if we just had like on Patreon, like as soon as an episode drops or an upcoming episode we're going to cover from the past, I put like a feedback post just specifically for that.
Yeah. I think I tried to do that, but I think we're gonna grow some. I just wanted people to make it easy. If you're watching us there,
the easiest way possible.
Do it there. If it's easy to do it right here in the chat section of the YouTube, do it here. If it's easier for you to send an email, do it there.
Maybe there's some kind of like software aggregate that will put them all in one place for us from all the different places. We'll have to grow.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that out. Maybe if he's watching, maybe Morgan can tell us all about that.
Yeah, he's a smart person.
Yes.
Oh, you know what else they fixed for me? Star Trek 3, Christopher Lloyd, right? I always thought, he's got a Targ, but it's a dog, and I don't understand. There's something wrong there. So apparently they have Klingon dogs too, and this one had a little puppy. What was her name? Relga? She had a little puppy. Cute puppy. I want that puppy.
It was sort of like the transporter clone dog from the Enemy.
A little bit.
It looked a little bit like Penelope too. So I was happy.
But like overbreeded to make it, weird things.
Yeah, googly
eyes. I don't know. And it was so funny when it turned into a clam.
It's like, what is that about?
That was hilarious. What was some of your favorite things were switching around due to the Schrodinger field?
I like that. I mean, I that's part of the episode that I really wanted to revel in. Like I wanted to see a whole bunch of cool stuff, but I feel like that aspect of it got lost in all of the Klingon battle plot. So
Mm.
the ship is changing all around them. And that in itself, I think, could have been a very intriguing and I guess more an aspect of the episode that could bear more examination. But it just seemed like it was happening to happen just so there could be even more action on screen, even though they're heading into the rift, even though they're in a firefight, even though a whole bunch of other stuff is going on. The ship is transforming around them, but it doesn't seem to change them in any way.
Right, because the only thing affected after their upgrades was the deuterium.
Right. So is that what that was? Because I was trying to figure out why none of them seemed to change at all.
Yeah, deuterium is important in making starships, at least warp class starships. I think warp capable starships. So that was affected because they couldn't fix that, but they could fix everything on the inside. Otherwise, we'd have characters changing the whole time, and it wouldn't work, I don't think. And then once they unfixed the Klingon vessel, then that's when they turned into feral Klingons, I think.
Right. So, I mean, I want to talk about the Klingons a little bit too, but was that aspect of the episode what you hoped it would be? And I was thinking maybe they didn't lean into that as much as I hoped they would. The whole dimensional shifting and the transforming and all that, because we just got the episode before this where we really did wallow in a lot of that nostalgia and a lot of those legacy characters and callbacks and stuff. Do you think they were afraid of repeating?
Yeah, in a way. And for me, I think it was just like it was many levels in this episode. There was the main overarching peril, they have to save the universe. And I think that's like the main story. And that was more of like a drama and crunch time situation, action situation. But it's a comedy show, and they're great at these little jokes that pop up, one-liners or visual gags. And people need that too. And if it didn't have it, it would kind of be missing something. So I think the two levels of the one of the action and the other one of just like all the things that are changing being, oh, that's cool, Galaxy class, or the clam thing. It just makes you laugh while you're enjoying the adventure. And there's so much happening. And as long as you can pay attention, you can enjoy the adventure and laugh at the comedy at the same time. So I think it was well executed. I think they struck a really good balance.
So you think it was just enough? That's cool. I mean, I'm glad, because I think that I was thinking that might be a Chris problem, because I find the multi-universe switching and all that stuff far more interesting than a firefight to close a rift. So I would prefer to linger on that stuff, but the episode's not about that. And I get it, but it's nice just to see it anyway. And again, they gave me everything I wanted in the previous episode anyway. So I think this is more of you're a ship wonk. This would have been, this is Starship porn is what this is. And I was trying to write down the classes of all the ships that we saw, but frankly, I don't think I was able to go anything beyond the Freedom class, which I didn't even know what that was. It was the one nacelle design.
Yeah, you're more of a ship head than I am.
And they had the Terran Empire version of the Cerritos, and then the Cerritos turned into a Sovereign class, and that's like the Enterprise E. And then after that, it like whoops. One of the ships I think was the scout ship from Search for Spock. With was it Grissom? Captain Grissom? I don't know. Esteban? I don't remember. I think it was like the science exploration ship from Search for Spock, and then it looked like the Reliant. It's like a Reliant class ship. What is the Reliant? Is that like an Akira class? I don't even know.
I don't know these things. I know the Galaxy. And I know Constitution.
Yeah, and there was a Galaxy class version. Yeah, there was a Galaxy class version. There was different versions. So, I mean, I think it also might have been neat to see it warp into different types of ships that we hadn't seen before. But again, you really want the callback, and you want them to do the stuff. Oh, look at that! No, I know that. No, that's awesome. I get to see that.
Yeah.
And, I think that the only thing we didn't see was maybe an Excelsior version of the Cerritos. So,
speaking of that, I loved the Klingons changing, and I love the two things like where Dr. Ta'ana says that their ships never change that much because they always want them to look like a freaking bird. And when it did, it was like a Klingon barge, like from Barge of the Dead or something. That was so awesome. It just changed, and they just floated away.
Yeah, all hands lost. It was supposed to be like a Klingon sailing ship, right? Like
yeah. That's crazy. I love that idea. I don't know how they thought of it, but good job on whoever did. And it surprised me. Like this episode didn't pull any punches with that. Like it wasn't like G.I. Joe where they were like getting parachutes for launching while they were getting spaced. You know, they died, and then the other ship, the attacking ship, got destroyed. All hands dead.
Yeah, I think even Boimler destroyed one of the ships, or something happened when they were trying to warp away from the Klingons to begin with. When what's her name, Relga, when Relga's armada surrounds them. And they're fighting to get away because they're harboring Ma'an and Malor. Brad does this move where he kind of shifts the ship, and it seemed like the shield brushed up against the other Klingon ship, and that Klingon ship just exploded. Now, I don't know if it was the Soliton beam, but both times I watched it, it seemed like Brad caused that ship to blow up.
Which one?
When it was in the first battle sequence before they were close to the rift, when they're doing evasive maneuvers to get away from them because they're outmanned, and Brad is doing evasive maneuvers, and as part of that he brushes up against one of the ships and it blows up. And they just keep going on. And that's not something you see a lot in Lower Decks, like space battles with ships actually blowing up. I mean, it's much more cinematic. It's much more serious than you would expect on a Lower Decks type episode,
Exactly. And that hit me like after the second ship and everybody died on the second ship, the Klingons. Because like we've seen stuff similar, but those were in the holodeck movie adventures. Where they're just holodecks. So it's just like the Kobayashi Maru test. Yeah, ship exploded, all hands lost, but it's only a test. This was real.
Well, I mean, let's go. You finish. I'm sorry.
I like the fact, because I think it was good for dramatic purposes, bringing in like the big bad villain. And at least they didn't do like what they did with Amanda Plummer, where like that was the whole season kind of thing. They just brought her in, this Relga, for this last episode. And it was good for the action and drive the plot forward, but it was also kind of like a joke on the trope of having the big bad villain at the end. So I think it was a joke in a joke, and it was good. It acknowledged a trope and it made fun of it, and yet used it at the same time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it had its cake and it ate it too.
Exactly, Klingon cake.
I'm really glad that you brought this up, because that's kind of where I was going to go anyway.
Okay.
The one thing that really bumped me about this episode is we have so much buildup with the characters that we know, and then we finally get the reveal that it's Lily's ship making the rifts, and then you're waiting for the reaction from the end of the last episode where Brad gets the message that the universe is going to be destroyed, or our universe anyway. And then we start with this unknown Klingon. And not only is it an unknown Klingon, it's like, that's why I was making fun of it in my synopsis. It was like a Star Trek V Klingon. They're like Klingons sort of before the truce, kind of during the truce, but they're just like generic angry Klingons that are just looking for a fight. They just want to get into some kind of scrap. And it was so different than the Klingons as we've seen them portrayed on TNG. Throughout TNG, even when you think of DS9, the Klingons are still warriors. They still want to fight, but there's the whole thing with the honor, and I don't think they're not tooling around looking for an excuse to just kill people. Right. And this is like those Klingons in Star Trek V that are just literally tooling around looking for a fight, and they say, "Oh, Kirk is over here. He's a great warrior. If we beat him, imagine our street cred." And it struck me as a throwback. It struck me as very incongruous where the Klingons should be at this point in the timeline. So that bumped me a lot, because I'm thinking I really want to get on with the story. I'm so jazzed about where they left it last week, and then all of a sudden I got to sit through literally 5 minutes of just this screaming cliche Klingon doing stuff that we've seen them do already. And I know Lower Decks is all about doing homages and things. I don't know if it was a deliberate homage to Star Trek V or what. Maybe they just wanted to have some Klingon fun before they left. But I think that's maybe the weakest choice of the episode, making these Klingons a foil just so that they can have some kind of peril that will prevent them from saving the universe. And how stupid are these Klingons? They want to chase. They don't see what's going on around them to the exclusion of all else. They care about Mach and Malor. Like you see the entire reality shifting around you, and you're still, what are you, stupid or crazy or both?
Star Trek V Klingons, you nailed it. But I think it was an homage and poking fun at the trope at the same time, lovingly, and it gave us that like warm feeling of those guys, sitting on VHS, and we watch them, and they're trying to get Kirk for no reason other than they're bored. They're street thugs that are bored. But I think they did it on purpose, and I think that they achieved their goal. Is how I felt about it when I watched it.
All right. So it didn't bump you. It bumped me. To put it in LB terms, it just really bumped me. But once I settled into it, I guess I was okay with it, and I didn't find it as screamingly. I'm not going to say bad. It wasn't as jarring, and it wasn't as off-putting on the second watch.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess, yeah. Again, is that a Chris problem? I'd love to know what everybody else thought of that, because it just seemed to be a weird left turn from where we were. What do you think? The other thing that was a little bit of a weird left turn for me, just like Tendi seemed to be acting out of character in the Purple D episode in Fully Dilated, Samanthan was completely out of character in this. He's getting annoyed that his Oculus is now too advanced for the Cerritos. Did we lay any kind of groundwork down for that this season, or is that just something out of the blue?
Not that I saw on this viewing of this season, but I'm going to look for it. It might have something to do with the sparks and the licking the tomato juice off the transporter. I'm not sure. I like that they did it, because his character evolved. They were talking about his character evolves in when they were doing, I think, New York Comic-Con. So that's what that was, I think. I really think Tendi and Rutherford both, were very agitated and very out of what we know them as in general. So I'm wondering why. Like Tendi, we noticed that before, but when Tendi was like yelling at T'Lyn, and that was strange. But maybe crisis situation, because they're not too often in like real crises, like save the universe crises.
I guess, man, maybe it's because they're still junior officers in so many ways. They're fitting into their roles. They're learning their roles, and maybe it's growing pains. Maybe they're learning how to react to being more responsible for saving the day. And that was part of something that Mariner was saying to Ransom, in the sense that, we're lower decks. What are you talking about? Provisional first officers. So even they're coming to terms with their new positions on the ship. So I guess that's cool. Can you refresh my memory, though? You've done a Lower Decks watch through or rewatch, or you've probably seen it more than I have, right?
I think so. I live in there sometimes. Linda says it seems like he's been having trouble with his implants most of the season. Yeah, maybe he was just finally frustrated. I know, like when I go to fix something like a computer or something like that, first couple hours I'm pretty good no matter what it is, because I'm like a PC guy, so I know I'm going to be in there a while. But like if it goes more than a day, I start getting angry, and then I have to step away. So, but he couldn't step away because he's got the thing on his head. But he finally just ripped it off.
Can we go back just and refresh my memory, please, about how Rutherford got his implant? Was it the one where he was racing ships or something?
Yeah, and he got blew up, and then the admiral that had the evil ships, was it season 3 or something like that?
Oh yeah, the Texas class.
Mi Amigo, or what was his name?
Bonamigo.
Bonamigo, yeah, Admiral Bonamigo, like erased his memory and put that implant in. So that was one thing that I found strange. I thought that was like, one, keeping him alive, and two, repressing that former personality. So I'm not sure what happened there. I got to figure that out on the boards.
Yeah, so I guess that what we obviously, no matter what it was before, right now it is now that he could have taken that out at any point. It's not like 7, where she needs like her, what is it, the cortical implant for her neural cortex or some Borgified stuff like that. Like she can't live without her implants.
Right. Neither can I.
Oh wow! I so inadvertently tee it off. You just need to like mug at the camera like Rodney Dangerfield, dude.
They bring me joy. Her Borg implants bring me joy. So there's little joys in life, but that's one of them.
When am I going to learn? When am I going to learn?
But is that something about Rutherford's implants we were told or just assumed? I'm not sure. On the rewatch, I'm going to have to take my notepad out and write this down and go, actually.
Yeah. Actually, I think it's interesting to see without the implants. It's interesting for him to do the 180 and reconnect with the things that he loves instead of letting this one piece of tech take him away from it all. So I don't know what's the commentary there. If I felt more for these characters, I think that would have been more poignant for me. I've always liked Rutherford, but he's just been like a nice little comic relief. I've never felt any kind of real pathos for him or any kind of, oh, I really care what happens to Rutherford. No, but
I do.
How do you feel about them leaving him here in like this new version of him that you're not going to get to see?
I honestly believe we will see more Lower Decks in some form, and I hope so. Whether it's books, audio books, live action, cartoons on another network, something. I hope. It's just too good. And it did the whole thing like with Enterprise. Right. It gets its best right before the final episode and gets canceled.
Well, but you never answered my question. How do you feel about where they left Rutherford?
I like it because it's a step forward, and I like it because, like, he made fun of him being too organic-y and but he wasn't able to hide his feelings and emotions, and I really ship Tendi and Rutherford. So at the end, when he blushed and he got all like nervous and embarrassed, and then it got even more so when Tendi pulled him closer, and then he had to like get away.
Yeah.
And then there was like a look, and I had to watch it a couple times, but I think there was a look from Tendi to Rutherford where she kind of went, "Oh, okay, I get it now." And how do I feel about it? All in a couple frames of moving eyeballs and tilting a head or something. So, like, I'm excited to see where their relationship goes forward, be it platonic friends or romantically. I'm up for either one, but I felt a little romance there.
I wonder if they're gonna do like a season 6 comic book series, like post
anything. If Mike McMahon's in charge of it, I'll buy it. So
they did that with Smallville. They did season 11. They did it with Buffy, I think, and they even did it with Firefly. Joss Whedon was a big fan of doing that stuff.
Firefly just had a brand new novel release. They have a bunch of novels. Yeah. Buffy, I got season 8 of Buffy in comic books. It was pretty good. But like my pull was getting to be hundreds of dollars a month. So I had to slow down on that.
Oh yeah, I did a whole thing about comic books and how I had to stop buying them, even though I still get the itch and I go into the comic shop. But now I find myself buying Archie comics because it reminds me of when I was a kid in the Bronx and I used to just buy Archie comics all the time. And I go like the comic I showed you for Trek and Tell last time. Like I find these Star Trek comics, and they're these 5-shot series. Yeah. And I just get obsessed with finding all, like all 5 of them or whatever. And it turns out my local comic book shop has so many Star Trek comics. Like they really stock them. So I can usually find what I like there. But it's also, it's that thrill of the hunt when I was looking for like all the Quantum Leap comics, or I stop in any comic book shop I can at any time that I have never been in, and I look for Alf comics for you. Even if you have the Alf comic, I'll pick it up anyway.
I really appreciate it. What is it? Albi.ws/Alf is my checklist.
Yeah.
And anybody looking for Alf comics for me?
Have we ever put that out here on Trexploration? Albie he wants all the Alf comics, and I've been looking for them for years. I did find a motherload once that I was able to send you. And
even the rarest ones I have now.
And didn't John help you with that too? Longbox John? He owned the
I think so. Yeah. And I think even Allison is helping me. Actually, behind me on one of my shelves is an Alf book, because she finds these Alf books, which are like golden books or something, or like actually paper versions. Like of just Alf stories, and that's on my checklist too. So I don't know how many people are going to my checklist on my website when they're shopping for Alf merch. I don't know.
Yeah, so maybe maybe we can pop up the link here. So that's something you can send to the PO box if you find any Alf comics out in the wild. Send them to Albie. He loves them.
That I don't have. So my ultimate thing is I want the Teddy Ruxpin Alf. I had one, but he like disintegrated from like age. Or I don't know.
I'll look for that for you.
Yeah, you put the cassette in, and Alf tells you a story, and then at the end he goes, "Ha!"
Oh, that Alf.
Yeah, that Alf.
I wonder, did I give you the Take Me Alf to the Ball Game little paper record when you were here?
I don't think so.
I feel like I showed it. If I find it again, it's got to be here in a box. Then I'll mail it to you.
He gave me some nice lithographs. I still haven't hung them up in the space station yet. I got 3 walls to decorate. I've only decorated the 1 wall.
Yeah, those were I had some of them hanging up in my bedroom. Anyway, a lot of them were Star Trek. It was like the artwork from the Star Trek posters just for people listening.
Really nice.
Yeah. And they were really cool. And it's funny because getting back to Lower Decks, if you look at the season posters for Lower Decks, seasons 1 through 5 ape the original series movies 1 through 5 artwork. So I wonder if you can get the seasons 1 through 5 posters and then put the artwork from the TOS movies up next to them to juxtapose the similarities.
That would be really cool. And that might be another reason why we got the kind of flavor of Star Trek 5. Because maybe if there's a Star Trek Lower Decks season 6 one day, it would be like a 6, and maybe they get a final season and they do the autographs at the end, and maybe they're a little bit older. I don't know.
Would it be like the 6 has sort of that slant look on it, right? I think I have the book right here. Yeah, there it is. No.
Yeah, I have the VHS behind me on the shelf.
I have. Here it is. Oh.
He is wearing pants, folks. Don't click off. Yes, very nice. I've had that. I don't know if I still have that, but I've had that.
So everybody. So that would have been the new season 6 artwork for Lower Decks.
So there would have had to be like a General Chang kind of thing in the background, some kind of Klingon maybe on season 6 of Lower Decks. How can we not get it? I mean, it's streaming, so they can't guess at ratings. They actually know how many of us watch it and how often.
Yeah, I
don't know.
My burning question now is when they do the next crossover to Strange New Worlds for the live, and they bring Noel and Eugene on to reprise their roles. Do you want Rutherford to have the implant, or do you want live action implant Rutherford or post implant Rutherford?
On the second viewing, I thought to myself, because I was more like analyzing stuff, so I like had stuff in my head to talk about like I do. First time, I just enjoy it. I got teary-eyed actually at the end. But I think part of the reason they did that is maybe if he goes on Strange New Worlds, he doesn't have to wear the stuff on his face.
Okay.
Yeah. But I would love to see Noel Wells painted green.
I'd like to see him with the stuff on his face. Actually, I think it'd be interesting to see how they bring that into a live action setting, in like a 3D setting.
They could. It depends on where they're from and what time they're from. And if they go back into the same episode that there was already a live action, a la Back to the Future 2, where Tendi and Rutherford have to save Boymes and Mariner or something, and we only saw the one view so far.
Oh, so you think it'll be like that? Well, that'd be pretty cool.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not a writer.
Cool for me.
Yeah, you're a writer. Write that book. So the Schrodinger possibility field. To me, it was an interesting idea because of all the alternate realities that were like ripped open. So it makes sense because there's like a tear in all those realities. I don't think all the realities. I just think all the realities that they traveled through kind of like were joining together. But what did you think of the whole way they did that? Not necessarily just stuff switching, but that's how they saved the universes is by having that, and then the final like gate there, like the wormhole on DS9 kind of thing.
I liked the fact that they didn't just destroy the rift and close off all the possibilities that they opened with William Boimler's ship and crew. The fact that we have now in universe an interdimensional gate opens up so many, to me, interesting storytelling possibilities for Star Trek, and opens the door for maybe an anthology series, or maybe something like we saw in Fisher Quest, where you have legacy characters that are quite obviously aged out of their parts by this point. So maybe we can do some kind of ensemble show, or some kind of, like I said, anthology. This is what it's like in this universe, and we have Archer in this one, or this is what it's like in this universe, and we have, reverse Picard torturing Neelix with a crew
Human
code.
Warp.
Right. Human Warp comes on out. I like that, because it just makes the Star Trek universe that much more dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
How about you?
Yeah, like I said, backdoor pilot. If it's not a backdoor pilot, I mean, Mike McMahon wrote an amazing season and series finale to make it a backdoor pilot, because you already had those 2 established stars on Starbase 80 with their voice work, and then you have the captain from Cerritos on there now with the Admiral, her husband. And I think that would just be like a great thing. And the alternate universe characters that we got to know in the last one. I would love to see a new show. I maybe if things were different and this wasn't canceled, then they just added another one. That'd be great. Kind of like they did with other animated shows like that.
Yeah, or even like Strange New Worlds spinning off Go.
Something. Yeah. But it would have to
be
animated, kind of, right? Because of the characters they have in place with the Garrick and T'Pol.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it looks like they're all hanging out on the Starbase. Now, this is something that I saw on, I guess it was What Culture, because I'm watching that now because you recommended it last.
Oh, you Trek Culture with Sean.
Yeah.
Garrick.
Yeah.
Met him in Vegas. Got a picture.
Cool. But they had pointed out that if you have interdimensional hopping and too much time divergence, it will really F you up. And it happened to one of the Kelvin universe operatives that got stranded here during the Temporal Cold War. And it was happening to Mira Georgiou. That's why she had to leave. So is that going to eventually start happening to, say, like T'Pol?
It's only if they change universes and time.
Right. So what about Lily? Time, right?
Well, she's in her current time, I believe, because her current time is different than our current time, but they're happening concurrently. So I don't think she time traveled. She just traveled to a different dimension.
See, now I'm not really sure about that. I really think that they are time traveling as they hop dimensions.
Oh, that I don't know about.
I don't know. I mean, it's all good fodder. It's all good story fodder. But we did establish, even though it is disco, we did establish in universe that it could be really detrimental if your quantum signature strays too far from its original time stream. Mm-hmm. So
Linda says yes.
Yes, I think that she wants to see an anthology series.
Oh, I thought she was saying yes to 709's implants.
And she's saying, see why I'm confused. And I think maybe they're leaving that ambiguous for a reason, Linda. I think that it's meant to be as open as possible, because if they come back to it, you don't want to have rules already to tell you what you can and you can't do. So it's just cool enough to see it. And then if we have to start defining it, let's do it through story, not through setting up rules and then finding ways to circumvent them for a cheap story. See also iRobot.
And also, what was it? Austin Powers, the time travel. You don't look too close at it. And I'd rather.
Oh, I've gone cross-eyed.
Yeah, I'd rather not know. I would rather not have rules set up like you were saying, so I could get my different Star Trek characters from different times of the past that they can bring to this show.
Yeah, exactly. And let's see if they want to start introducing stakes, maybe they bring in some of that stuff that Kovac found out way in the 53rd century or wherever the hell disco is now. So
now you mentioned steaks, I'm hungry.
Well, you know where to find me, and we can go to that restaurant and have steaks again if you'd like.
That was probably the best steak I had in a long time.
One of my favorite stories in New York City.
New York City.
Was it after we saw Wicked? No, because it was.
No one mourns from Wicked.
Laura was there.
Laura,
and
yeah.
We had met her for
time. You got to tell me so I know when, who, where.
We met her for dinner. We were around the corner from somewhere.
2024.
Maybe it was after the Back to the Future musical. Maybe we met her. We went to that Italian restaurant.
Italian restaurant. Yes, that was after we saw The Connector because Laura was with us.
Oh, that's okay. Okay, so she didn't meet us. She was actually with us. It's so infrequent that Laura and I actually see a show together in Manhattan because she doesn't like what I like.
We were very graciously given 4 tickets by Scott Bakula.
Yes,
to see his musical.
JD Schwartz. Yeah,
so they offered us 2. I asked for 4, and Jay got us 4. So Rennie could go and Laura could go.
Laura enjoyed it, but so we went to the so getting back to steak.
Captain Arthur.
Albie is sitting at the table, and the waitress says, "What do you have?" And he says, "I'll have cheese stick." Right? It was fried mozzarella, and she said, "Would you like that? How would you like that cooked? Well done, medium rare?" And you all of a sudden you just imploded. You were just like, what? Did she even listen to me?" And I don't understand. This day, I'm trying to explain to you. She thought you said, "I'll have bistecca." Like
I don't know what that is.
Beef steak.
Oh, beef steak. She thought it was
you were ordering a steak. You were just ordering like a big log of fried cheese.
Well, I thought it was cheese sticks. You know, the restaurant had a rope. I didn't know who was paying, so I was like, "I'll have cheese sticks," because you know, $47 for 6 cheese sticks or something. Who knows? Right?
It's Manhattan. Yeah, that's a deal.
Yeah, exactly. So I got cheese sticks. I didn't get the steak. That'd be like $300 probably. So.
I just thought like you had a complete meltdown because she misheard you and you thought that you ordered wrong somehow. I happen to have a good authority now. Albie likes his cheese sticks medium rare for any other servers that are out there.
Yeah, I just didn't understand. And it's been happening to me my whole life, like especially drive-thrus. If I order something, I get the wrong thing. They don't hear me. They don't understand my voice. And yet I talk for a kind of living. You know, so it doesn't make sense. But I don't have like a microphone in front of me when I'm talking to these people. So
yeah. I can tell you, you didn't do anything wrong, and it wasn't personal. You took it way personally. Anyway,
it's just one of those things that like I'll go to the Burger King and say I'll have a number 2, and then they'll give me a chicken sandwich, and I'm like, no, the number 2 is. You know, the double Whopper or something like that. I just, every time it's wrong. And unless it's a fish sandwich, I eat it, like whatever. But it's just like, I sit there and I'm like eating my salad when I ordered, you know, a Whopper or cheese sticks. And I'm just like, what is it about me that people don't understand a word coming out of my mouth?
I'm going to get you a t-shirt that says bistecca with a cheese stick underneath it.
I've actually thought, because I dated a deaf girl once. And she actually had cards made up of frequent things to hand people, you know. So I thought about like my favorite order at each restaurant, like writing it on a little index card and just handing it to them, so they don't get it wrong because they don't understand me. And then when I ordered cheese sticks and she said, "How would you like that cooked?" I didn't understand. So it was half that I'm frustrated that nobody understands the word coming out of my mouth, and the other half was like, this is a really fancy restaurant if there's different ways to cook cheese sticks.
Well, anyway, that was another nice moment from our.
It was a deep fried 2-pound log of mozzarella cheese breaded, and it came with like a steak knife and a fork.
Yeah, it was big. It was big.
I didn't understand. I ate it.
They weren't fooling around.
No. What did Rennie have that night? Like mushrooms and carrots and.
Oh, she had a grilled vegetable platter that looked outstanding.
Yeah,
because when we walked in that place, they had all of those roasted vegetables right up front, and behind the guy was making the pizza, and you know they were cooking a whole bunch of stuff. So yeah, that even tempted me.
Is that when I drank the Manhattan?
I believe so, because you were in Manhattan.
Or did I have a Cosmo that night?
I had a Manhattan.
Oh, then I must have had a Manhattan.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll take Manhattan too.
Or maybe I had a martini. I had some kind of cocktail.
Mm.
I don't even remember what I had.
Maybe why we don't remember. Omnipotent Willard says Georgia was too far in the future from her time, which is why she had to go back to a time period closer to hers.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's why I'm thinking Lily might be in trouble if she hangs out with Boimler any longer. If she stays on Starbase 80, she might be screwed.
But if we get Alfred Whittaker, don't tell him. Let her be on there.
Okay, we'll do.
Now, wasn't it that guy that was in that Kirk and Spock like fan film recently. The same like Alien and the Next Gen unitard with the
I think what aren't they? I want to say that they were Aldebaran.
I think that was him.
Yeah, I think it was the same. It was the same dude, or the same type of the same species anyway.
Probably the same makeup, I'm guessing, because if not, that was really good for a fan film.
I gotta tell you, I wanted to talk about that here on the show, but there was just not a lot going on in that thing. I guess it's Spock dying and Kirk.
Some people loved it, some people didn't. I don't know where I stand on it.
I just don't understand why it was even made, quite frankly. Anyway, so let's get back to
proof of concept technology, maybe. Like they're almost there. I mean, if you don't look at them, they look real.
That's wow. You know? what a ringing endorsement.
That's my favorite things. I think I repaired my mom's ceiling one time. She had old popcorn ceilings in her place, and I repaired it. And at the end, she's nice, but she has no filter. So she looked up and said, "As long as you don't look at it, you can't see it."
It's like something Yogi Berra would say.
Like if you want it done for real, call somebody, right? But I did my best. I'm always doing my best.
One thing we haven't spoken about yet, where we are, just the ensemble nature of this episode. Like another thing that you would kind of anticipate from a Lower Decks is that it would be a final adventure of the Core 4. I guess now they're Core 5 if you count T'Lyn.
Doesn't rhyme though. So what do we do?
We just say Core 4 and T'Lyn.
Fab 5 is already taken.
Yeah. What's
it's got to be alliterative. If it doesn't rhyme, Fab 5.
Fab 5. Okay.
If it's not alliterative, I mean, if it doesn't rhyme, it at least has to be alliterative, right?
Okay. So it'll be the fun 5. The fun 5. Anyway, it struck me how much of an ensemble episode this was because they tried to use everybody on the crew, even people that we've seen tangentially throughout this season and I guess other seasons. If you're much more of a Lower Decks fan than I am, I imagine there were callbacks galore to different characters, but it really surprised me that the two characters that were so instrumental in defeating the Klingon ship were Ollie and I guess it was the Australian, I forget her name, from the adventure last week from Upper Decks, right? So that's something that you would think on any other show, Meredith, right? You would think on any other show that one of the main cast would be out there. It would have been Boimler and Mariner,
right?
It would have been Rutherford and Brad, but no, it was these two characters that we got to know tangentially a couple of episodes ago, helping save the ship, while our people were on the bridge, I guess, right? They were on the bridge doing their thing. Does that signify that they've moved on to be beyond the focus of the show? The show is about Lower Decks, and now they're becoming midshipmen anyway. If not Upper Decks, they're on the bridge all the time. So it's almost like the show is deliberately saying they've aged out. Like, okay, now they're going to go on to a more traditional Star Trek adventure. We're going to stick with the Lower Deckers, and these are the new Lower Deckers.
Well, I love that, and that they introduce new characters. And I remember, and it made me think of something while I was watching it. You said a couple episodes ago that they were like wasting the final episodes because they're introducing these characters, but it all came together like the best Seinfeld episode at the end, like the whole season. It's almost like they started with this final story and worked their way backwards. Yeah, or they had time to write the whole season to introduce these characters and use them and have payoffs. I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, I think no better use of that was the reemergence of Starbase 80. I think I said at the time we're going to see these characters again in some
You're right.
capacity.
You called it. Yeah,
and I'm just trying to figure out if, like, teching the tech here,
Starbase 80.
Totally. I would watch it too. Well, I mean, it's like a backdoor pilot, like you said, especially where they left it. Why is Starbase 80's obsolescence a benefit of being by the rip? They said it emits some kind of radiation that no modern ship could handle.
The tachyon field, no modern ship can handle the tachyon emissions, I think is what they said. Which again brings up time. So I'm not sure.
Do we have tech heads that can tell us what that's about, or is that just, I don't know. But that's one of the things. The Treknobabble is an aspect of the show that never really interested me. But if you're going to use it to establish the fact that an obsolete station has to not only be there because it's the only one that can be there, but has to remain obsolete in order to function properly, that's an interesting wrinkle. I'd like to explore that more. And would O'Brien go absolutely batshit crazy on that thing because he couldn't upgrade?
That's funny. But that reminds me of Rutherford going crazy with this stuff. But the fact that it's older, it's like they wrote the backdoor pilot and then just had an episode about Starbase 80, and then they referenced it a couple episodes before that. But it's just great that, like, I think it mirrors like the crew. Like the crew was a California class and not thought of and in well regard. And, you know, that even Starfleet was like, unfortunately, you guys got to handle it. We didn't want you to, but you're the only people that can help it. But they rose to the occasion and they saved the universe. So again, people and places and things that are discounted really coming in to their own and being used and saving the day, which is amazing. And it mirrored with Starbase 80 and the California class crew.
Yeah, I remember that's sort of one of the morals that I got from the Starbase 80 episode was don't judge a book, don't prejudge anything. Go and find out and learn and explore, and you might be surprised at what you find. So,
listen, Linda says, I did appreciate that the final episode didn't have any special surprise guests.
Yeah,
I would agree with that.
I agree. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that, but I think that's an interesting point because we were so just caught up in all of the reveals in Fisher Quest, all of the legacy characters, that you really needed something like that so that you could focus on those characters, you could highlight them, you could spotlight them. And it would have been out of place for a final episode. Like I think we said it would have been like These Are the Voyages. When you have Riker hijacking the episode that should rightfully be Archer's. So I guess that's maybe an example of them having their cake and eating it too. We want 17 Harry Kims. We want to bring back Jolene. We want to bring back Andy and Sid. So why don't we do one big blowout episode before so that when we are ending the series, we can focus on our characters. And that way everybody gets what they want.
They did it right.
Yeah.
They did it right.
I hadn't really thought about it in those terms. So thank you, Linda.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, like I was like fantasizing about, stunt casting for the final episode, but I think it worked without it. And we got to see the ones from the previous episode for a few seconds and no voices, except for the commander of the Starbase 80. I forget her character's name.
Yeah, I you know what? I didn't write anything down. I'm sorry. We were going right to the
rush round. Usually we have an extra day to not prepare.
Well, the thing is, the cast list wasn't out anywhere yet.
Oh yeah, it's brand new.
It was so long. Like all of the guest cast, there were like 3 screens of it, and I was like, I'm not going to sit here and write all this down
because I only look at 1 or 2 probably. One thing I really liked of the lower deckers becoming the upper deckers in this new Next Generation was when they figured out at the end, or at least Mariner figured out at the end, how to put a dam up to the Schrodinger field, where she was like hopping over the like horseshoe that they had, and she typed in the things on the thing and then hit the thing with her hand. I was like, that's so like next gen of her. I loved it. It was
that's
so
something cool. That's something that bumped me. I thought it was cool.
Really?
Well, you have there are a couple of things that bumped me.
Okay.
That part bumped me because you had everything going on. They figured it out, and then it fails, and then you need some Klingon farmer to tell you what to do that to me was a little bit of taking some of the thunder away from Tendi. The other thing, when the ship splits into 2 quantum potentialities, when it doubles,
that was cool.
I watched it twice. I'm still trying to figure out what they were doing there. I think that's another thing. Well, we can do it, so let's just do it. It's like, if less is more, imagine how much more is.
My thought was it's the whole Schrodinger's thing. It's either the cat is both alive and dead at the same time, and you don't know until you open the box. Yeah, but the oversimplification of that. So they were both going to save the day and just get destroyed, I think, and they were both heading at the same time towards those eventualities, and then they were smart enough to remerge and come out victorious.
I think it could have been done better. It was very confusing to me. I sound like you now. Now we've reversed roles, sir.
I'm offended.
Have we? Why? Why are you offended?
Because I just thought it was great.
I thought that was kind of a mess. I thought that it was something that, okay, this seems like a cool concept. We have the concept of a plan, so let's just put it up on the screen. And okay, it's some kind of message about learning to work together and trust one another, but isn't that what we've known about this show for a while? I don't know. I thought that was a little bit of a stumble.
For me, it was all good things of it. And also everybody having to had all the experiences that they've had these past 5 seasons to save the universe. And they weren't saving the universe all the time. They were the Cerritos. This is the first time I believe they saved the universe.
Yeah, I mean, so it's nice to see them graduate to that, but I don't know. I just don't think we needed a double ship. It was already so busy. There was so much going on. So we have this double ship where I think that Tendi is wasted. Tendi and Talyn are wasted there trying to bring these 2 quantum realities back together when there was no reason for them to split anyway. It's just like a vehicle to get them to have their little moment, but their moment should have been building that dam. It shouldn't have been Mariner talking to Malore, who is by all accounts an idiot, and getting this weird inspiration, then just not even explaining what she's doing, just teching some tech, hitting a button with her fist, and all of a sudden, stable wormhole. Like, what?
USS Repulsor Beam against USS Sikorsky. I don't know. I think the Malore part was cool just because everybody was hyper-focused, and they couldn't see another option, and the guy not really too involved in the teching the tech, just like thought of it outside the box and in the general things. Why can't we do this? And it shows that maybe not everybody is specialized and scientifically advanced, but people like that are still important.
I suppose. I just think it was a little too twee.
I gotta look that up. Linda, Cadet Listen Linda says the season started with Dos Cerritos and ended with Dos Cerritos. I like it.
All right. There's some symmetry there. Okay. You got me.
Yeah, bookends, right?
Yeah, you can't.
And Omnipotent Willard said, Wonder Twins Unite. Yeah, that was a cool moment with Science Besties, and they did kind of like an anime split screen kind of thing.
Wonder Twin powers activate.
Form of ice.
Yeah, who's gonna turn into who's gonna carry the bucket? We don't have a. Do we have a Gleep? Is there a Gleep? It's purple too, so maybe that would be one of the
monkey, right? It had a tail, right? It's not
right,
like
purple monkey had a tail, so it would have been a version of Brad if the quantum reality in the Schrodinger field had affected him.
Did you notice?
He would have turned into Gleep.
A different quantum reality version of Brad Boimler.
Yes, so, I pointed it out. Yeah, I pointed it out earlier with the purple beard, the purple hair.
So, like, if something really rough happened in Jack Quaid's life, like we could have switched places.
I have no doubt.
I'm like the disco Klingon of Jack Quaid. I'll wear it. This is what I got. I got to work with it. You know,
work it, girl.
The episode. The Twining was cool that they brought the Twining back. I liked all the series closing references. You know, just it wasn't as much for jokes as like to remind you of all the good times you had with your friends on the show. The other one was, I think, when Dr. Ta'ana was trying to help a Bajoran, the portal opened up, and I think that was the character played by Haley Joel Osment that died because he was like a screw up, and he kept screwing up, but was on the back of a koala or something.
Right, he went up and he saw the giant koala in the afterlife.
Yeah. And now he's back, right? I think
they even incorporated that koala into the hero ship animation that they do at the beginning of Lower Decks.
And I think it makes as much sense as anything else.
Yeah, I think either the portal opened up and maybe it wasn't the afterlife. Maybe he just went to another dimension and now he's close to this portal, so he's just falling back out of it. Because it was. I want to know more. He wasn't dead, really. He was just ascending. It was like an ascension, if I recall.
And now he's back.
And now he's back. So maybe it's not an afterlife. It's just another plane.
If you like Ascension, check out Stargate SG-1. Was that the candle from Sub Rosa?
No, I think it was just that was like Jennifer's like candle like club. She had
but
like this little club. Oh, I don't know if it was the candle from Sub
I
Rosa.
think it was the Sub Rosa candle. Do not light the candle.
I mean the infamous candle on
Yes.
it. Yes.
I think I want to 3D print that.
Anything that you can do to try to get Gates McFadden to your house, so you have no shame.
If I get the real magic candle, maybe I can get Gates McFadden.
No, you're just gonna get her creepy family ghost. That's the way that works.
Yeah, Beverly Crusher's grandma's better than no Beverly Crusher at all.
I guess no.
That zombie grandma
wasn't the ghost a dude though? So
oh yeah,
he'll be part of the devil's threesome.
Oh, the dude was like inhabiting the grandma, right? So the grandma, even though she was dead, she really wasn't her.
No, it wasn't the grandma. It was a dude that came out of the candle that seduced the grandma.
No, but I mean, when she came out of the grave. When she came out of the grave, that freaked me out when I was younger.
Oh, I don't remember. I think I've seen Sub Rosa maybe once, so I don't recall.
One of my faves. We'll get there when we get there.
Yeah, but that's like late season 7, right?
Yeah, so maybe we won't make it. All right, before we do cleanup and wrap up and give our final thoughts and ratings on this episode, what else do we got to do here, Chris?
I think that
you want to take a call since it's the season finale, or are we
we might as well take a call. Who's calling?
If anybody wants to call in, go ahead. And until then,
who's your episode crush? Your episode.
My episode crush. Wow, that's rough. There's so many people and so many things in this episode. I'm going to go with Beckett Mariner. I think we've seen Beckett Mariner, her character evolve, grow, and become more mature, except for lighting her bed on fire.
And kicking a computer.
So we got that. Who was your episode crush?
Ransom. Ransom is my episode crush. Captain Ransom. I'm just brown nosing so I can get a spot on the bridge.
He was hunky and handsome. What do you think about your friend Jerry O'Connell becoming captain? We didn't even talk about that.
I like that. Yeah, Jerry becomes captain, and also Jerry got the last word in the entire series. Like he was
warp me.
Yeah. What was it? Warp core. Activate the warp core.
Warp core.
I
warp
forget.
Core me. I don't know. It was good though, but it was funny that they were making fun of him and saying, "No, we were not going to do that. Let's not do that. We don't want to do that," because everybody, made fun of what was it, Picard that ended that way.
Yeah, and disco.
Disco. Yeah, so it was becoming a trope to end series with that. So they're like, "No, we're not going to do that, and this can't be our life. We can't do this." I really enjoyed it. Warp me? No. Warp core me? No. Warp.
Activate the warp core.
Start the reactor. Quaid, start the reactor.
No, it wasn't that.
No, but it was good because he was becoming
cool.
captain. He's very Riker to me, Ransom.
Mm-hmm. So he needs to start growing a beard.
And his veins that he made came in handy at the end.
There you go. He stopped the Klingon because he's so buff.
Yes.
What is your favorite part of the episode?
The end scene in their bar where they were all just like, Rutherford took his thing out and they were talking, and the whole crush between the two, and just everybody being okay and becoming who they were meant to be all along. So like the ending of the series and the episode, I think. What about you? What was your favorite part?
I liked how the ensemble came together, how they made this a true story that encompassed all of the crew. And even though I barely know any of these crewmates, it was nice to see everybody have a moment to shine. There was even a cool Miggly Moo joke, which I liked. And you know how I like Miggly Moo.
A little birdie told me. Was it Miggly Moo? Yes, it was. Omnipotent Willer said it was engage the core.
Engage the core. Okay.
Always good to have somebody that can see in all time and space.
That's true. That's true. Was there a 47? I think there were 47 guest stars on this episode.
Yeah, I didn't see it offhand, but I only watched it twice. Cadet Listen Linda says, talk about the co-first officers.
Yeah, the provisional first officers. I wrote that down because it's yet another way. Like it bumped me a little bit that they're going to have 2 chief science officers, and they showed you in this episode how that could be a detriment if they don't agree. You're like, what if you're not going to be a science bestie all the time? So co-provisional XOs is what they were. Co-provisional.
Why can't he so angry?
I don't know. Why is Rutherford so angry?
I think there's something happening, and then we don't know about it yet. It's setting something else up. Okay. Co-first officers. Ransom can do what he wants because he's a captain.
Yeah, but I mean, so is there any kind of protocol on Starfleet vessels at all anymore?
Not if it's animated.
I guess, but there's no protocol on Strange New Worlds either. Like everybody's just wisecracking all over the bridge, like they're at a country club.
That's true. They're very chummy. They're Rito strong.
Yeah. So I guess if this were a live action Star Trek and they went with this co-provisional first officer, I'd call shenanigans. I'd be like, bull Pucky, and we're live. But
kind of reminds me of Best of Both Worlds, where Riker and Elizabeth Dennehy were like trying to fight over who's going to be captain and kind of working together, but against each other. But Boymes and Mariner are working together on this, I think. Like Ransom tried to make it a competition, but they're not going to compete against each other. They're going to support each other, I think.
No, they have no idea how they're going to do it. They said this is going to pit us against each other, and he said friendly competition is always good. So
again, he's being a Bojo ziphead to make his crew step up. Cadet Listen Linda says maybe you and Albie can be co-first officers. She's talking directly to you, Chris.
No, I think that you're the captain and I'm the lower decker.
Maybe we'll talk to Captain Charles and see if we can be both first officers.
I guess, Linda, you have far too much faith in me.
I've got faith of the Christopher D. Philippus.
So,
all right, trivia questions. Who asks who?
I think I just asked you, and you got 1.5 out of 3. So maybe it's my turn.
So I ask you. So let's retcon that. Okay, I got 3 out of 3. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I got you for 3 questions.
3
Follow along at home. Try to answer them before we do. We don't have the Jeopardy music, but you can imagine it in your head.
Do. Oh, we can't monetize if we do so much of that.
Yep. Where are the... Okay. There we go. Where are the... What? Who? It's definitely a W word.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, reset. Ready? Who are the arch nemesis of the Klingon House of Moog?
The House of Moog.
The arch nemesis of them.
The Durhasses?
Yes, the House of Duras.
Okay.
Next Generation in Space Nine.
That's the only other Klingon name I know besides Martok.
Very good. Martok rules. Nice guy.
Is it House of
what does question number 2? Follow along at home. Answer it if you can. Quicker than Chris. What does Captain Picard do on screen for the first time in the Next Generation episode, Sarek? Did we just read this?
No, but you had it's going to be one of 2 things. Can I do 2 answers and whichever one is right?
Well, you're co-first officer, so
it's it's either the Picard maneuver or he weeps.
He weeps is correct, sir.
Okay.
I'm sure he does a Picard maneuver. He does that often, starting in season 3 when they had the separated uniforms.
Gotcha.
All right, good. 2 for 2 so far. One final question out of the 3 questions.
All right. I might weep. If I get this wrong, I might weep.
Follow along at home. And he weeps again in what is it? Star Trek Generations?
Mm-hmm.
Is it Generations where he finds out about his nephew? Renee.
Robert.
What is the last line spoken in the final Next Generation episode, All Good Things Part 2?
I think I know this.
All right. I think we all know this and are getting chills thinking about it.
Or maybe I'm wrong, but
no, you're probably right.
I should have done this I should have done this a long time ago.
Nope. Just watch the scene in your head. You got this. What happens at the end?
And then she says, "You know, you're always welcome." And then and then he says something about aces are nothing wild, 5-card stud, nothing wild. And then they just kind of pan away.
And he says one more thing.
He says, "Make it so."
Ooh, no.
I mean, I can do this all night.
And the
The end.
Sky
And the sky
is the limit.
Oh,
and the sky's the limit.
Yeah, I wouldn't know that. I never would have gotten that. But thank
I'll
you.
get you.
Thank you for having faith in that I could get that.
You got faith of the Delipus.
I got faith.
Faith of the Delipus.
Faith of the cards. That's not a good joke. Cut that.
Yeah, I only started playing poker after Star Trek.
So, do you have a Trek and Tell, sir?
I do. And since we're going back to next gen after this, with When the Bow Breaks, hopefully, I have
We already did When the Bow Breaks.
Did we? What's next?
Which is Home Soil.
Home Soil, Ugly Bags of Mostly Water. So,
I don't know if did we release When the Bow Breaks?
We did, just the live stream, not the edited one. That's coming.
Gotcha.
Got a
Okay,
little behind.
So what is this in bubble wrap? I see bubble wrap.
I have not one but two Star Trek: The Next Generation action figures to unbubble.
Where do you keep all this stuff?
I trip over piles of Trek merchandise. Literally, my phone said, "You have a greater fall risk than most." It's not that; it's just I have more Star Trek memorabilia than most.
I don't think I should send you out.
I got to work on it. I feel bad for whoever cleans out my Star Trek merch after I'm gone. Hopefully it's a Trekkie. If not, it's just going to all end up that. So I have two here. Ooh, that's a cool one. Picking one at random.
Who?
The Galoob Star Trek: The Next Generation action figure of Lieutenant Commander Worf.
Are those the ones with the variant uniforms that they wound up scrapping for generations?
No, I don't have those. Those are Playmates. This is Galoob.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those were because they were in Star Trek Generations. They were going to have like more Monster Maroon versions of the next gen, but then they canceled it to last minute. Did you know that Riker and I think it's Geordi are wearing Miles O'Brien and Cisco's uniforms in that movie?
That I heard. Yep.
I just thought it was brilliant that they were like showing you when the uniforms transition because they never show you that before. It's new season, new uniforms. I just thought it was brilliant that they were showing the transitions to the new versions of the uniforms. They were just pulling stuff from wardrobe, trying to make the movie go. That's crazy. I want to watch that soon. Star Trek Generations.
Yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to do that at some point.
Yes. That's a holiday movie, isn't it?
According to you, everything's a holiday movie. So
it's got a Christmas tree. It counts.
So this is Worf. This is like first season Worf.
Absolutely. These are the first Star Trek Generation action figures ever.
Ah.
The Galoob set. Yes. So that's very cool. So I like that. That came really nice. And it came with another one, and I haven't unwrapped this yet. I got boxes.
Does Tasha's come with that stupid thing that she wears around her head when she bones Data?
I'm not going to show Tasha until we get to Skin of Evil.
Okay.
Who's this one? Ooh, Lieutenant Commander Data.
All right.
So everybody that's a Next Generation fan like myself, we are going to start doing Home Soil soon.
You need
probably after the holiday, I'm sure.
You need to open those and destroy all collectible value, sir.
No. These are from when I rode my bicycle to the store. So they got to be old because I'm about to ride my hover round to the store.
You're a lark.
So Lieutenant Commander Data, these are really nice condition. I got a really good deal, so I'm very excited.
Yeah,
I'm sure I paid more than the sticker price. $3.99 was the sticker price.
Wow.
So they went up 10 times in value, probably.
Was I ever that young?
I feel young.
Yeah, the cover price on this Star Trek 6 is $4.99 for the paperback.
What do they run now? Because you still buy them, right?
I haven't gotten a Star Trek paperback. Let me see if I have.
You prefer paperback? That's where I messed up with Imzadi. I got you the hardcover.
No, I prefer hardcovers. But Star Trek only comes in paperback. They had a whole bunch of hardcover books. I have a lot of them, but the main series, the main tie-in series, has always been a paperback model.
Because it was Pocket Books that put them out, right?
Yeah.
And did that mean paperback, or did Pocket Books put out the hardcovers too? How does that work?
They put out the hardcovers too. I guess once the novels were selling like they were selling, they could put out hardcovers. I think the first hardcover might have been Spock's World, which I have. And Shadows on the Sun. Michael Jan Friedman wrote that. That's about McCoy and his daughter.
McCoy had a daughter? I never read that. What's it called?
Shadows on the Sun.
Never read it. I love
I don't know if I've ever read that one, quite frankly. I've had it for years, and I bought it intending to read it, but I don't know if I've ever got around to it.
Can you pull a book off the shelf, something that would be appropriate for tonight?
I wish. I mean,
or just any book.
I showed you comic books. Well, we already did Star Trek 6, so there we go. So
okay, yeah, Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country.
And let me see if I have the Star Trek 5, so we can see what the cover art looks like.
Okay, let's see what the cover art looks like. Engage the core.
Engage the core here. Yeah, I put all the. There you go. So this is the Final Frontier, which I think, like the Klingons in this, were an homage to Final Frontier. So if you can see, they have all the Marauders on Nimbus. That are coming, and
Planet of Galactus.
So I'm surprised that there's no bones on this cover, though. No.
That artwork just brings me joy. It takes me back. When did that movie come out? It had to be the 90s, right, Colin?
Why'd you call me Colin? Are you
having because that's Saturday Night Live thing. Oh. They make jokes that they can't make anymore, but then Michael Che just tells Colin, "It's the 90s, Colin. It's okay."
Okay. First pocketbook printing, June 1989. So it had to come out in, Star Trek 5 probably came out because I remember seeing it in the theater with friends from college who didn't like it either. So it had to be 89. This probably was released concurrently with it because I was 19. It was before I met Laura that it came out.
89, the year Taylor Swift was born.
Right. So 89 and Star Trek 6. The first 92. Edition, of course, 92. Yep. Yeah, so 89 and then 92.
I like Star Trek 5. I mean, it's not the best, but it's fun seeing our old friends one more
time. Star Trek 5 is not a good film.
Marshmallows.
Yeah, I tried. Marshmallows. Why don't you just call them marshmallows?
Row your boat. Can't wait to get to those movies.
I mean, I think we have a better chance of getting to the end of TNG before we hit those. Are you kidding?
Maybe. If we get to All Good Things, mission complete, right?
Maybe we do. Maybe that can be and more for
and
the
more,
Patreon
and more.
Feed. We can
for our patrons?
Yeah, we can do once a year or once every quarter. We can do one of the feature films. Because we got like 14 of them, right? That we can.
At least 13. Is there 14?
Well, you got to think there are 10, I believe,
10.
if you go for the 6 and then the 4, right? Because you had the 6
TOS,
and then 3 Kelvin verse. So that's 13?
13, yep. Lucky number. And by the time we get all those done, there'll be a couple more, right?
Right. There should be one more. Oh, and then we have that Section 31 debacle.
Oh, does that count? That's a movie. Right? It's not a debacle yet.
Anyway, so
we're going to be reviewing that as it comes out. So that's January 24th. So look for us that day.
Yes, please do.
Subscribe, set all the alerts to on.
That's my dating anniversary. So
happy anniversary. So not that day, maybe the day after.
No, because my anniversary, I might be away that weekend. It's my anniversary.
I'm gonna call Paramount Plus and see if they can either move it up, push it back, or at least send us a copy ahead of time so we can pre-tape it.
All right, I think we've wandered off the path. We need to close this rift and set our people free. We've been talking way too long. So we have our Trek and Tell.
Before we do our final thoughts and ratings, can you tell the people where they can tell us what they think?
No, we do our final thoughts and ratings, and then we tell the people.
Okay, you think I get this now? It's
I know you're killing me. You're killing me.
I'm killing you. Okay,
wait. Before let's just reset it. Linda has she was in yellow.
Oh, there's more comments.
Yeah, a couple of more comments, and then we'll go to our final thoughts.
Okay, sounds good. Cadet Linda says, I was in Yellowstone when they were filming there. Wow.
So for Star Trek 5, so she saw Kirk stuntman climbing a rock and Spock in ski boots.
Wow, we finally answered the question. Why is Captain Kirk climbing the mountain? Because Linda was on top of that mountain.
I have no doubt. It's not because it was there. And she was in Yosemite, not Yellowstone.
It's because Cadet Linda was there. So the Omnipotent Willard says McCoy's daughter was originally going to be in The Way to Eden.
Yes. And for a bonus point, Albie, can you name McCoy's daughter?
see, not bones, cartilage.
Yes, that's Linda was in Yosemite. Yeah, I kid you not. I worked with an anchor at my local news station when I was a TV producer, and she's just reading off the teleprompter. And she said, and in Yosemite National Park. And I was just like, what? And she didn't even realize what she was saying. It just like rote reading, just a
that's what they do.
Vacant smile, rote reading. Anyway.
My favorite is the wedding proposals when they're getting proposed to and they're just reading the copy and they don't realize it for a minute. And Amanda Willard says her name was Joanna.
It is Joanna. It is Joanna. And from now on, listen, Linda is no longer our cadet. She's the queen of Yosemite.
The queen of Yosemite.
Anyway,
Willard says, do I get the bonus points? Yes, you do, Willard. Congratulations.
You earned it, Willard. You earned it. All right. So our final thoughts and ratings. I'll give mine because you're the big Lower Decks fan, and I want you to have your.
I don't know. I think you've grown. I think you're a Lower Decks fan now.
I am a Lower Decks fan. I think that this was a solid finale. I enjoyed this episode a lot. There were a few things in it that bumped me, but what I loved about this episode is they really went big and they tried a lot of stuff. And to me, not all of it stuck. I thought that the premise of the action of the episode was kind of strained, with the Klingons just being dicky Klingons out of the past for absolutely no reason other than to have a foil. So that being said, I liked the way that they used the actual Cerritos characters in this. I liked the way that everybody was able to have their moment. And I liked, for the most part, where everybody wound up. If I had to have a last episode of Lower Decks, this is as good as any. I think that it's a nice send-off for a show that I've liked variably through the years. I've liked it better this season more than any other season. However, that makes me happy because in my mind, the show will always have gone out on a high. So I know that I gave 5 out of 5 to last week's episode, and I still think that that is the pinnacle of the season. But I'm going to give this one 4.5 teary soliloquies out of 5. How about you, sir?
Ditto. All those things. And again, if we had to have a last episode, I think they stuck the landing. I think it was well constructed, well written, well executed. Nothing about the episode bumped me. I enjoyed all of it. For me, it was a little action heavy, but I think that was the point of ending with action story. It was very best of both worldsy to me, where it was more about the situation they're in and less about the characters at the moment. But I think, like you were saying, the characters really got to shine. And I think the only thing that was missing for me is if it was a true end, would have been like the signatures a la Star Trek 6. But I really think that's because they really hope there's more. And I hope there's more. And I think anything this good, at least for me, it's one of my favorite Star Trek series. It's definitely high up there. And I just, the rewatchability is crazy for me. And because Star Trek already, I rewatch all the time. But, you're rewatching like a Klingon drama episode, it's good and you enjoy it and you get into it. But these you can rewatch and just laugh your butt off. And for me, it was, it like paid respect to all the characters. And for me, nothing was missing. And I think it was a complete good ending. And I think Mike McMahon tries to do that for every season pretty much, is end it like it was the last season. But this really read series finale to me. And it made me hopeful. Maybe not for future episodes or future series, but hopeful for their characters. Like, because I've really gotten to know these Lower Deckers through these 5 seasons. And I really, have genuine affection for these drawings on a computer somewhere. And for me, I'm leaving the theater, the virtual theater, with a warm feeling in my heart and I'm glad it stuck the landing, because when last episodes kind of crap the bed and they don't get a chance to change the sheets, it kind of ruins the whole series. So I think applaud for Mike McMahon and staff and crew. Job well done. I think you guys need a standing ovation, and I'm going to give it. I know I said 11 was my only 11 last time. Probably shouldn't have said that. Just because my heart tells me this is an 11. I'm going to go equal 11. I broke it the next episode. So I'm going to go with 11 Schrodinger possibility fields. And I just want to thank everyone at Lower Decks for their hard work, because this show is amazing in every way. Every department nailed it. Music, casting, voice work, direction, animation, everything. And I can't espouse my gratitude enough. Thank you for Lower Decks. Thank you, Mike McMahon. Thank you for his team. Thank you for everyone. Thank you for all the actors. Thank you.
Beautifully put, sir. And if you out there listening or watching would like to tell us what you think about this series finale of Lower Decks, there are many ways that you can reach us here at Trek Exploration. You can always go to our main home of discussion at our Patreon site. That's patreon.com/Trek-Exploration. There you can find tiers where you can support the show, or you can just join for free. Please come on over. We want everybody to come and join us. Patreon.com/Trek-Exploration. You can find us on Instagram at TrekExplorationPod. You can find us on Blue Sky. I guess it's at TrekExploration or at TrekExplorationPod. TikTok.com/@TrekExploration. You can email us, TrekExplorationPod@gmail.com. You can call us on the phone, 707-847-6682. And you can also send us anything you'd like to our post office box. That's P.O. Box 542. Bayport, New York, 11705. And always feel free to comment right here on our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/@TrekExploration. For those of you listening on all of our brand new podcast feeds, welcome Apple Podcasts, welcome Spotify, welcome whoever else we get as the years roll on. We're all happy to have you.
Somehow it's on there.
Just remember, any comments that you send will likely be used on an upcoming episode of Trek Exploration. And speaking of upcoming episodes, Albie, you've already alluded to what we're talking about next. Huh?
Is it time?
It's time.
Are we going to do Home Soil?
We're going to do Home Soil, baby.
Yeah. I miss Next Gen. I get my Next Gen fix from Lower Decks, but I miss Next Gen proper.
Yeah, we're finally getting back to our regular TNG recaps. That's how we started this show. That's always been the focus of this show. And it's been great to have some live Star Trek week in and week out to go over. But Albie is going to be coming home. We're going to be talking about Home Soil. And that's season 1, episode 18, for those of you following along at home. I can't believe we've already covered like 17 episodes of Next Gen.
That's
I feel
crazy.
like we started the show. We started the show, what, like a month and a half ago, right?
April, I think.
Anyway,
Robert April.
It doesn't seem like it's
been. It goes by fast.
Yeah, but so we're looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that. Home Soil is such a super interesting episode. I can't wait to talk about it with you, my friend.
Yeah, so please, all you ugly bags of mostly water, watch that episode and then join us when we talk about it. That will probably be after Christmas, I'm guessing, because of my holiday schedule that's coming up. But speaking of, look for a special drop on YouTube and Patreon of our holiday episode.
That's coming up very soon. So
yes, and before that, maybe watch a holiday episode of Star Trek or something, maybe a movie.
I wonder what you could be talking about.
I wonder what.
But I guess they're going to have to go to patreon.com/Trek-Exploration to find out. So
yes, all members will be notified. And of course, coming soon, the Captain's Table. As soon as we can get the schedule worked out, we'll have every Patreon member that is available that wants to be on, because we have the founders and we have the patrons and we have our Captain Charles.
He's going to be leading the festivities. So
yes,
so much good stuff to come. So much more. I mean, Lower Decks might be over, but Trek Exploration goes on and on and on and on. So you'll always be able to find us here talking about Star Trek.
Thank you, Christopher D. Philippus. I really enjoyed Lower Decks season 5 even more than I normally do, just because I had somebody to talk to. I had my Star Trek bestie.
Well, thank you. And I was very happy to discuss it with you because your genuine love of the series shines through, and it helped bolster my feelings about the series. So we have to put an end to this mutual love fest. People are going to start getting sick at how maudlin we are.
Love words. For Trek Exploration, I'm Albie.
And I'm Chris.
And we'll see you next time.
Around the multiverse.
And now we're just recording our credits and we hold stuff up. But you got Star Trek 5, Star Trek 6. I love those books. I can smell those books from here. I know the smell of those paperbacks.
I can't believe how these have held up. Like, they don't have like any browning on the top, and they're really clean.
You got to add butter and sugar.
I can't believe how clean they are. You see how I don't bend my bindings?
Does that make it more difficult to read?
Not to me. I've been reading them without cracking the bindings since I was a kid.
So how do you do that? You just don't open it.
It's very easy. Look, the end. That's it.
Okay. Yeah.
You can still see it.
Yep. I first started reading Star Trek books in high school when I just hide in the library all day instead of going to class, because they had a huge Star Trek paperback collection, and I would just sit there all day, read the paperback.
No, Star Trek books were my entry into the crack that became book collecting to me. So it was you were talking about riding your bike to the store to get the Galoob figures. I was riding my bike to the independent bookstore in Smithtown to find the earliest editions of the paperback series, because it was really brand new back then. I think there was.
Didn't they have a comic book store on my walk route?
17. Say again.
My walk route that I have, comic book store is on that. It's only about 1.5 miles away.
Oh, cool.
So I stop in there and check for Star Trek comics. Yeah. Okay, thank you, live audience that joined us.
Thanks, guys.
Listen, Linda, the Omnipotent Willard, everyone else that was watching along that didn't comment, thank you so much. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah is coming after Christmas this year. Happy Festivus.
To the rest of us.
All right.
Good night, everybody.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, peace out. Bye.
Peace out. Bye. Love you, mean it.
I have that.